Right.
But I seen a video of 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me.
Let's talk about him in a moment because he's having a little controversy today.
Really? I didn't even know that. But no, I seen a video of him talking about how he knew someone that had a bunch of guns in their crib and he broke into the crib while they were gone and stole the guns or whatever.
Right. It's just an obvious lick to hit because it's like if you can get your hands on that, it's super valuable, you know?
Exactly.
But it's like robbing a gun store. It's just like if you get caught robbing a gun store, you're getting blammied. So,
but the thing about is that nobody worries about the actual punishment in doing something. And also it's like if you if they know that you are there and you have one of those guns on your side, then yes, like you probably don't want to rob it. But if you go on vacation, what's happening with the guns? You're just gonna leave your house unattended with 50 guns in there? That's like you're just such a target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
He's just thinking about it. Like,
I'm just thinking about 50 guns on the wall. Somebody just hitting the biggest lick.
I think in the 1090 Jake story too that he was in the house and then like he knew the people whose house he was robbing, and I think that someone came back while they were in there. Like it was like a very intense story. This is when I first found his YouTube and I just binge watched all of his videos.
Right.
But what were you saying about?
Okay, so 1090 Jake, if you really think about it, what he's doing right now, and so for the people who don't know, 1090 Jake is a YouTuber, has a channel called End of Sentence, and we talked about him so goddamn much that this kind of feels whack to be re-explaining what his channel is, but it's very popular. He has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. He puts out a video like every single day, and for the most part, it's about street shit. It's like he's telling you about such and such gang situation where such and such. The other day I clicked on one because it was like Adam rolling neighborhood 60s crip, and I click on it and it ends up being a dude from New Zealand who like killed a bunch of people. And he somehow at some point like some Crips went to New Zealand and spread rolling 60s to there, and then he killed a bunch of people. He's in jail, he's locked up, he's still banging that shit from jail, whatever. I clicked on it just because it said his name was Adam. I'm like, oh, that's neat. But either way, like every day, but he's been covering the YNW Melly saga like very heavily, and if you really think about it, like what he's doing is pretty much what Academics was doing back in the day of just covering a lot of beef between like smaller artists, but it stood out so much when Ac was doing it back in the day, and now it's like there's so many YouTube channels just making videos about different street conflicts that nobody even thinks twice about it. And what's interesting about the 1090 Jake thing is that he did jail time. He's a blood. He comes from a perspective where like he can kind of talk about it because he's actually done a lot of the things or been around a lot of these things. So he's coming from a different perspective, and it's crazy because he's white and he's from Boston area, so he like grew up within like an hour or two of where I grew up, which is that's weird for me to hear this news from somebody who has an accent like someone I grew up around.
Yeah, but then he also like he like lives in Florida now or some shit, so he kind of gives me like Floridian and Boston collab vibe.
Right.
What is up with them people who make these fucking videos? Their voices are always weird.
Nah, I like.
Is that on purpose?
I like Trap Geek's voice. Pause.
Yeah,
super pause.
Yo, the craziest thing ever would be to meet Trap Geek and hear his voice and then actually believe that it was him because of his voice. Like that would trip me out so bad.
I mean, I feel like if I heard you talk somewhere and like I was blindfolded, I would know it was you immediately.
I've had people come up to me and be like, "I recognize your voice. Like I listen to your podcast," and I'm like, "Wow,
your shit's distinctive."
That's so weird to not see me on YouTube because when I put out a piece of content, I'm only thinking about YouTube.
Yeah. No, like I've been out in public where someone was like looking at me and they didn't say anything until I spoke, and they probably like realized that it was me.
That happened to me the other day too, where I was in the 7-Eleven. I walk in and there's like a couple different kids in there and stuff, and I just go to the counter. I'm like, "Y'all got backwoods?" They all immediately look at me because they just know, like, but they couldn't tell with the mask and shit. But then I say that, boom, it's me.
I feel like everybody can notice you with a fucking mask. Like that happens all the time.
Yeah,
I'd be like, God damn it.
But people will be a little unsure, and then they'll hear your voice and they're like, "Oh, it's him." Anyway, so Jake's video today was basically about YNW Melly's murder case, and basically saying that through looking at the police records or whatever, because he does a lot of research and bases a lot of his videos on what he's able to ascertain from reading these police reports that are like publicly available, and he read basically something that made him believe that Track, 100K Track, aka Melly's manager, aka King Von's former manager, who actually got shot in the whole King Von situation, he basically, from reading that paperwork, made the conclusion that yes, Track's house was searched by the police looking for stuff, because there's a lot of stuff I didn't realize. Like they're implicating Track and saying that Track basically was involved with hiding one of the murder weapons and like going to the forest and finding this gun and then disposing of it, and they never found the gun or something like that. It's said that he was involved with that. I didn't even know that when I was interviewing him, but either way, they said in some of the paperwork, 1090 Jake got the idea that the reason why the cops have Melly's phone and have access to all these videos on the phone, and apparently there's videos that are saved on the phone that make the police believe that he's talking about these murders and that he's sort of almost like acknowledging and bragging about them. But the main thing is that he said that Melly's manager, Track, gave the phone willingly to the police. Now, that kind of contradicts a lot of different stuff because even the police are saying that that Track impeded the investigation by not giving them information that they clearly wanted. Like he's doing what he's supposed to do and not talking to them, giving them conflicting information, not being helpful with the case. But what 1090 Jake read in this report basically made him believe that actually Track came and handed the phone over and gave it to him. I saw that video this morning. A couple hours later, I go to Instagram. I'm looking around. I see that Track had posted a bunch of clips from the video and wrote a long-ass thing basically saying that he absolutely did not hand it over, and that, you know, people are taking stuff from the police reports and misinterpreting it, and that anything of Melly's that was taken from him was basically taken by force by the police.
Yeah.
So, you know, because as soon as I saw Jake doing that, I started to think, like, that's a pretty big accusation.
Yes.
And it's the kind of thing that
you get a nigga killed from that.
If I was Jake, I would want to talk to Track and talk at least you tell me your side of the story.
Bro, you can get a nigga killed for that.
But then at the same time, Track doesn't owe all respect to 1090 Jake, but Track doesn't owe some random YouTuber explanation for anything.
But if you're putting smut on somebody's name like that, somebody can see that and want to do something to you because of that's for sure. Just the rumor of it.
Because that video is out, and I don't know if he might put it on private if he decides that this is not true or not. But with Track taking offense to it or whatever, I'm sure he would have preferred that he was told about that video so he could have put his side of the story in there, because that video could have very easily been like, this is what I think from reading these police reports. I had a conversation with Track. Here's what he said. That makes it a more complete video, because if I make a video and I say, and you see this happen constantly online now, where it's like, I make a video and I say, this girl went on Twitter and she said that house phone spit in her face. And then you're going to come out and say, I didn't spit in this girl's face. I never met this girl. I don't know who the fuck she is. But my video's already out there with the allegation, but without giving you a chance to respond. Yeah. To me, that's not really necessarily in good faith. And the weird thing about 1090 Jake is that he has sort of existed in this YouTuber space. He's getting big enough that these rappers are going to start acknowledging him and actually really feeling away. With academics, that sort of cracked open at a certain point. For a long time, he was just a guy on YouTube. A lot of rappers didn't see a reason to acknowledge him. Jake is kind of in that space where it's there's not really, you don't hear every rapper talking about 1090 Jake. But if he keeps breaking news like this, or even potentially getting stories wrong, that's going to become more and more of a thing for him.
You got to think about it too, though. I think that he does a good job of the shit that he reports on is all public information. Is not he's but like you just said, that he's brought some information to light that was in the police reports that people didn't necessarily know about, though.
Right. And there's a lot of things that might be in a police report that a person like Track, who is in hip hop, wouldn't want to be out there regardless of if it's true or not. I just think that if you're going to make a video like that with an accusation, or I read the police report and this is what it led me to believe, check in with the person. At least, even if you send them a DM or an unanswered DM that they never get back to you on, at least you can then say bro, I tried to get your fucking comment on.
Yeah, and I feel too, even with the academic situation, I don't think they started really tripping on him until they put a face to the person. Because before, you didn't know what he looked like.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people who make these videos that we don't know what the fuck they look like. So
I want to know what Trap Geek looks like so bad.
So that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't know where to fucking go. And with that freedom, you could say anything. So with 1090 Jake being his face out there and he's doing shit like that, I can see people be tripping.
Yeah. It's a weird kind of position he's in, because it's if he stayed 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, then he's never going to have to deal with this shit. once you get to that area of like,
big dog.
you got 500,000 followers now, and like your words starting to seem like it actually really matters. And for the most part, I think his shit seems very responsible. Like, I this is one of the first times that I've really seen somebody like take offense or like say that he got something wrong. So maybe this is a new experience for him. I don't know if he's gonna necessarily fire back or what his opinion is gonna be going forward. But I mean, that Track situation is interesting too because they both live in Florida. And I mean, Track, like, he's got a ton of artists in Florida, and they're pretty much all like street artists. And I don't know. That would be crazy to imagine if that situation could become a real life situation. Hopefully not. But
the game has changed though now. Like even when I seen the shit that got Casanova in trouble, you know what I'm saying? They saying like a Nick Cannon interview. It's like,
bro.
It's like, man, the police are really watching all of this shit. Bro, this shit is crazy now though. But even like somebody having a video, bro, it could be a fucking cop watching a fucking video and trying to put 2 and 2 together with shit that they don't fucking know. So the game is rigged right now.
yeah.
But also, like, let's just be honest, niggas telling on themselves.
Oh, for sure, all day.
Is also a huge part of it. Like, if fucking, I don't know, like, say the cops wanted to investigate the Who I Smoke song.
Oh my God, I know.
You feel me?
When I think about that shit, sometimes I'm like, people really be acting like because somebody got killed 6 months ago that the case is over.
I know.
Nobody's ever going to get
like, bro,
caught.
That shit is crazy, bro.